Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Buckshot Thursday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot, and for today's episode, we're going to talk about Michelle Grisham and Ryan Busse getting taken to 2A Pound Town, baby. And we are going to pound. We're going to pound so hard. We're going to yeah, because that's how we go, man. But anyway, but nah, seriously. For those who don't know who these people are, obviously Michelle Grisham is the Mexico governor, scumbag piece of shit, finally getting put in her place there where she belongs. Ryan Busse is a man who used to work for Kimber as an executive and has since, for the past at least 5 years or so, give or take, been a total fuckknuckle and been a complete piece of shit against the Second Amendment to where he is now actively fucking with the Constitution is what it is, dude, and trying to be part of a bunch of lawsuits against Second Amendment stuff and being all pro gun control for Bloomberg, Giffords, etc. There is what it is, and now he's trying to run for Montana governor is what it is next year. So yeah, he can go fuck himself on that one, dude. This is what I've said before many times that we need to have auto DQs on the books right now for anyone that is trying to run on gun control platforms or run on like backdoor fucking bullshit like that or whatever, or some kind of abortion issues or whatever the case be then. So, anyways. But anywho, so basically got a bunch of different stories to talk about right now. I'm gonna talk about the Busse story first, I think, and then we'll get into the Grisham story and a bunch of other stuff. We'll get into some California gun ban stuff that is probably going to be overturned here pretty soon is what it'll be. So first and foremost, we got double link right there. We got this one, which is a link that was shared on Twitter today about this Busse guy, where it was former firearms executive Busse seeks Democratic nomination for Montana governor. Says former firearms executive Ryan Busse is seeking the Democratic nomination to challenge Montana Governor Greg Gianforte in the 2024 election. I think I'm pronouncing that guy's name right, but not sure. Anyway, Helena, Montana, former firearms executive turned gun industry critic, aka gun control fuckstick, Ryan Busse, is seeking the 2024 Democrat nomination to challenge first-term Republican Governor Greg Gianforte. Said Busse told Associated Press that his intentions in advance of a planned public announcement Thursday. It's his first time to run for public office. Says a 53-year-old makes it past the June's primary. He faces an uphill battle in trying to unseat Greg, who is able to draw from immense personal wealth to bankroll his campaign and whose party has dominated Montana during recent election cycles. President Trump won Montana in 2020 with a 16-point advantage over Biden. Said Busse suggested that Republicans are vulnerable in the state after failing to keep housing prices affordable. Yeah, not their fault. It's a bunch of asswipes want to come in there and ruin their shit, dude, is what it is. And the whole thing is, it's like, again, it's not really affordable housing in general. It's the fact that you have Montana being this giant swath of ranches is what it is, just like Wyoming and stuff like that for the most part, where you have, these people own like, 1,000,000 acres of ranches is what it is, dude. And that's the problem. You have nowhere to basically build, so you're building on top of each other. And like these cities like Helena is what it is then, which of course are going to be these Democrat help pockets at the end of the day. And I'll vote Democrat by default. It's why you had that fucking trans piece of shit. I'm pretty sure they were from Montana. That trans piece of shit. Or maybe it's Wyoming. I'm not sure. I think it was Montana though. Was that trans motherfucker there in that state house and stuff like that? Who literally did an insurrection over this year, by the way, at least twice for that matter, and was eventually booted out of that General Assembly, if not mistaken, or at least booted out of the chambers anywhere for weeks at a time. There is what it was, which in general, they should have been exiled from the fucking General Assembly permanently and been arrested for deprivation of laws, what it was, because they were literally trying to push for children to be medically castrated. And that's where you can go fuck yourself, buddy. You sick fuck. And that's the problem with these fucking people when it comes to these trans women like that, dude. It's like they're a bunch of goddamn sickos that want to sit there and fucking gender transition little kids is what it is, dude, because they want to literally prey upon these children and be fucking groomers and shit. That's why I'm still pissed over a year later about what happened with me on Guns Barbecue and specifically Baron SVG and stuff like that, which I demand an apology from those guys to this day, by the way. And if they don't, like, we're going to have fucking words at some point, dude, because I'm not only doubling down right now to this day right now of everything happened last year, I'm going to fucking, like, quintuple down on that shit, dude. Because the entire point of the rant that I went on over a year ago on this channel was literally about saving kids from actual pedophiles and pedophile enablers in our school systems. And at that point, it was about the bill that Florida was passing. Everybody want to call it the Don't Say Gay bill, even though it was parental rights bills. You know, the same shit that we're trying to do here in Ohio now to actually save our fucking kids. And then we have the fucking demon left trying to push this fucking abortion amendment / child sterilization amendment in November. That is also, by the way, a backdoor way to sterilize these fucking kids and castrate them and everything else like that. I actually got a letter in the mail today. I meant to bring it here, actually. We'll probably talk about tomorrow, though, is what it is more in depth, because it's basically discussing the language of the November ballot issue. There's what it is, which, of course, is going to be called Issue 1 again, which is actually why I want to get one of those Democrat placards that says Issue 1 is bullshit this time around, because it's like, it really is, honestly. And that's the whole point entirely. It's a bunch of crap, dude. And the fact of the matter is, it's like, yes, you have people in our school systems right now, in every single school system across this country right now, in the American education system, public education, that, number one, have no business being in any position of authority ever in any place, whether it be as a teacher, a school staff member, a principal, a vice principal, whatever the case be, a janitor even for that matter, nor do they belong anywhere near children, because they're just fucking psychotic, dude. There was one that NEA showed last night on one of his chats, actually, where it was this woman basically going on like a full demon rant. And it's like, yeah, this woman belongs in a fucking nut house, not in a children's elementary school, for God's sakes. And it's the same thing across the board with most of them, dude. We need to have proper vetting on anyone that wants to be a teacher in this country. And if you can't pass a high fucking standard, you should not be in education at all. And it's that simple. It should be the same thing with voting, for that matter. You know, both for being able to vote and being able to run for office, for that matter. If you can't pass a constitutional-based test, you shouldn't have voting rights for that election cycle. Sorry, try again next time. Same thing with fucking running for office, dude. If you can't pass an actual constitutional test based on the U.S. Constitution, based on the founding principles of this fucking country, and not know that, hey, you shouldn't be breaking your oath to office when you get in there, assholes, by pushing for gun control, by pushing for anti-life shit in the case of abortions or child sterilization, whatever the case it is there. This is exactly why we could do easily better in this country, honestly. But we refuse to, is what it is, dude. Why? Because somebody would come out there and be like, well, I'm going to sue you for being unconstitutional now. Fucking go ahead, bitch. Let's see what happens there. And I guarantee it can be deemed constitutional at some point there. It'll be, unlike Grisham's ass there in New Mexico, who obviously usurped a crazy amount of power to push some bullshit thing as public health emergencies, to then turn around and ban guns in the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico for 30 days, where she had no right to do that stuff. And all she's doing, even by her own admission, is hurting the armed citizenry, not the fucking criminals who steal guns and the cartel gangbangers walking over the fucking border right now that are going to be the ones doing all this violence and killing all these kids in drive-bys and stuff like that, which is exactly what led to all this shit, by the way. There was 2 children in New Mexico in the last couple of weeks. Here's what it was. One of them was outside of a ball game, and some kind of got shot in like some crazy drive-by or whatever the case be. And then there was a little girl who was basically just playing outside in her front yard or whatever it was that got smoked too, for that matter. And it's like, this is the problem, dude. It's not the people being armed, it's the criminals being armed and not being prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law at that point. Or it's a bunch of teenage kids, or even younger than that, you know, preteens, fucking even single-digit age kids sometimes in these cases, man. You know, 7, 8, 9 years old, etc. there, that are basically being swept into these gangs at young ages like that. And they're handing these kids fucking guns at that age to go kill somebody. It's insane. And it's not a fucking gun problem that we have in this country. It's a culture problem. And inanimate objects do not do the crimes, dude. It's the people behind them. And when you have a small child being, you know, preyed upon and being told, oh, you know, you can be hanging out with us all the time, buddy. You just have to go do this one thing for us. And then they go do that. And then they get charged as a minor. Or the person that told them to go do it doesn't even get charged at all, for that matter. Or it was obviously an adult or older teenager, for that matter, that was doing the shit. Like, that's the problem right now, dude. Like, it's so infuriating. And it's exactly why we're going to go. It's exactly why we're heading down a road right now towards a purge currently. And I believe, truthfully, especially a civil war for sure, is what we're heading towards right now. So, anyway. But, yeah, going back to the Busse story, though. Saying that Ryan was claiming that Republicans are vulnerable because they're failing to keep housing prices down, not taking action to prevent potential property tax increases, and threatening women's health care by passing severe abortion restrictions. Oh, you mean saving children that are going to be botched and butchered alive, you fucking asshole? But I'm not the least bit surprised that some fucking douchebag looks like that, some bald-headed fuckhead like that, who is an ex-executive at Kimber, one of the most expensive guns on the market to this day, by the way, for handguns. When it comes to like base prices and stuff like that. I mean, there's obviously like custom made stuff that's like way more expensive, but like, yeah, if you look at the actual like name brand guns and stuff like that, like Kimber's like high end 1911s is what it is, dude. So, anyway, but yeah, it's just a bunch of shit entirely. But this is what this idiot said here. It said, "To me, this is a narrative about Greg making his a playground for the wealthy and ignoring the people of Montana," Busse said Wednesday. "They had time to extend massive tax breaks to industry, to profitable industry, had time to blow a $2.8 billion surplus, had time to discuss the impacts of this tax increase on Montana homeowners, and they chose to do nothing about it," said recent increases in house evaluations could lead to 80 million spike in residential property taxes in the next year or two, according to State Department. So the agency suggested a change in the state's tax rate on residential property to avoid a tax increase, but Republican-controlled legislature did not adopt that, instead passing a $675 property tax rebate for resident homeowners in each of the next 2 years. Said during a 25-year career in the firearms industry, Busse said he directed the sale of almost 3 million guns from the manufacturer Kimber America, but he became disaffected as the increasingly politicized industry became aggressively marketing military-style assault rifles such as those used in numerous mass shootings. There's no such thing as an assault rifle, you fucking ass clown. What there is there's an AR-15, an Armalite rifle that Eugene Stoner created back in the day in the 1970s, you fucking clown ass. Or actually, I think it was the 60s now, I'm thinking about it, because it was used in Vietnam is what it was. But yeah, it was something Eugene Stoner created like 60-ish years ago, give or take. But the entire point is, it's like, you're a fucking idiot, Busse. You are 100% the problem, dude. The fact you're going to sit there and be like, "Oh, I used to sell guns for a living, but then I was like, oh, but all these rifles that people actually want to buy to defend their homes with, oh, because my, expensive ass 1911s that my company sells aren't going to get into the rifle market. Now we're losing gun buyers to other actual firearms manufacturers." That's what it really was, buddy boy. Now that's why you're all butthurt and you left the fucking company. Yeah, there you go. 1959 is when Stoner created that. Again, I'm not. You gotta think I've only been a gunner in this country for just under 6 years now. It was right before the midterms of 2018 when I became a gunner. So, yeah. I don't know everything there is to know about guns, and I don't claim to, but I do know that there is not such thing as an assault rifle. It was literally a term created by the Democrats in the 80s, right before they passed one in California over a guy that used Hellfire triggers, and I want to say it was Tech 9s, and then they used the shit again when Biden and company passed the crap in 1994 to do a 10-year blanket ban when I was a 9-year-old child, and fucked me out of being a gunner at 18, actually, is what it was, so... Anyway, so since leaving the industry in 2020, okay, so it's only been 3 years now. 2020, Busse has served as a policy advisor for Biden's 2020 campaign and written a book and articles highly critical of the National Rifle Association of Gun Manufacturers. Because even this leftist motherfucker, dude, it's always the boogeyman. It's always the NRA, dude. It's never GOA. It's never FPC. It's never any of the pro-2 organizations that are actually doing stuff to win these lawsuits. Take him to the Supreme Court, do the Bruin challenges, etc. there, dude. Which, by the way, the Bruin decision, a few months back now, actually more than that now, but yeah, when the Bruin decision happened there in the Supreme Court, like last year is what it was, that was actually the New York Rifle and Pistol Association that did that one, and it was some guys that were relating to Heller, the guy that did the Heller decision, that allowed for, common use firearms is what it was there. back in, what was it, 2012, 2011, something like that, when they had the decision handed down, and he was, or actually maybe 2009, I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I think it was Obama's administration for sure, though. I want to say it was his first term was when it happened then. But, yeah, anyway, it was Heller doing that, obviously. And it was for common use stuff then, which is what, obviously, ARs are nowadays. Same thing with Glock, same thing with any handgun for that matter, dude. So, anyway. It said, Busse, administrations against America's gun culture could become a flashpoint in his campaign, given the strong support for gun control, given the strong support for gun rights in Montana's politics. So Busse favors background checks for purchases, but opposes bans on assault weapons. Predicted Republicans will portray him as anti-gun because you fucking are, you douchebag. And it's exactly why your stupid fucking campaign today, when I called your bitch ass out on Twitter there, under the Hub Education Network moniker, why you're using some fucking bullshit with you and your sons. I assume your sons anyway. It could be two fucking prop teenagers for that matter, for all the fuck I know, dude. Not even related to your dumb ass that you probably just hire for the day is what it is. But I'm guessing it probably is your kids, honestly. Yeah, it was him and these two young teenage kids is what it was, dude. Literally packing up rifles to go literally shotgun hunting and like fucking trap and clay shooting and shit like that. It's like, bro, you are the definition of a FUD, Ryan Busse. You are the fucking problem, buddy. You are the fucking gatekeeper piece of shit who people like me have been fighting against for the past 5 goddamn years now. Because we're sick and tired of your fucking shit, dude. We're sick and tired of you fucking sitting there trying to put your goddamn thumb on us and hold us the fuck down and be like, oh, you can't have this. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck off, dude. Seriously. Our founding fathers would have shot you in the goddamn face, bro. I'm gonna say it like it fucking is right now. Like, you're the fucking redcoats that they killed back in 1776, dude. Seriously. You and fucking Shannon Watts, Michael Bloomberg, Gabby Giffords, etc., dude. You are the fucking people that were the British Empire back then. And you know for a fact the only reason that you're trying to take away our gun rights nowadays, and the same thing with the government that you fucking are holding hands with and sucking their dicks and everything like that, is because you want Hitlerian concentration camps again here. And you know for a fact when there is millions and millions upon millions of gun owners in this country, and we are armed to the fucking teeth, that you can't deal with us, that you can't put us away, you can't take us on train cars and send us off to our death camps. And if you ever tried, guess what? Shit's about to go down, bitches. It's as simple as that, really. So, anyway. Speaking of which, actually, this is a good transition story. Actually, I'm thinking about this. We're talking about Nazism and stuff. We got this one out of Colorado here, which is Nazi memorabilia, firearms found in Colorado home. It says, Denver, Colorado. A Colorado man was arrested after law enforcement said they searched his home and found more than a dozen firearms, potentially destructive devices, and Nazi memorabilia and drawings, according to U.S. Attorney General's office. For District Colorado, 36-year-old Dean Fabiano was arrested and charged with possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. So basically, he was already a felon in possession of firearms, what it was. So investigation began after U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents seized a package from China labeled toys, which came from a company known to send gun parts and counterfeit merchandise to the United States. So basically, this literal dumbass in Colorado was trying to buy a Glock switch from China. That's what that was. I guarantee it, dude. Guarantee that's what the guy was trying to get there. So he's a felon in possession of illegal firearms who is now committing more felonies to potentially buy Glock switches, is what it is there. So, anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to... I got too many fucking tabs open here is what it is right now. I'm trying to get back to what we're reading here. Okay, there it is. Yeah, as it says here. Let's see, rescreen share. It says, according to criminal complaint, the package contained, there you go, 2 Glock switches and was addressed to this guy. Neither of the switches, which allow a gun to operate in fully automatic fashion, had serial numbers. Why would they? Because again, they're Chinese-made fucking switches. What it is, dude. Said, quote, what I found fascinating was the feds had been tracking the importation of various trigger devices that could cause semi-automatic handguns like the ones the guy possessed to become fully automatic, and other silencers or suppressors, said legal analyst Greg Bacharler. It said, well, they've been tracking places in China that have been shipping them to the U.S. and disguising them as toys and other similar Wade devices, and they were on the lookout for these things. So the same guy said that Nazi memorabilia is troubling, but by itself is protected by the First Amendment. The complaint did not list any evidence of a specific threat. Dude, like, it's always fucking, like, this is the thing I think is retarded, honestly. It's always Nazism, too, by the way. Like, it's never black supremacy, which is what it is in most cases, honestly. Let's see. It says law enforcement is taking aggressive approach when it comes to keep firearms out of the hands of the wrong people, and begins even before stuff enters the countries. Well, that same analysis guy said there's what it was. Same analyst dude said felon banned from owning guns and ammo. Said this was at least the sixth shipment addressed to this dude since 2018, according to a criminal complaint. Came from companies known to ship gun parts in the United States illegally. Said that dude has multiple felony convictions dating back to 2002 that prohibit him from owning firearms or ammunition. On September 6th, federal law enforcement officers executed a search warrant at his house where they reportedly found the following 18 different firearms. Jesus Christ, man, that guy had that's actually a decent sized arsenal for that matter, honestly, dude. That was one more than I ever had. So, again, I'm poor as fuck, so. And then it was various firearm parts and ammunition, body armor, suspected drugs, including Xanax, psychedelic mushrooms, and suspected methamphetamine, potential destructive devices, including elements needed to make pipe bombs, and Nazi memorabilia and drawings. So during search, law enforcement said that they found a letter from a storage unit that he was renting. Officers were able to obtain a search warrant for that storage unit and allegedly found additional guns, including one that had its serial numbers covered over with a swastika. Said case is now being investigated to Homeland Security and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. So, yeah, interesting story, man. Interesting story. This is actually the one time that feds may have done their job, actually, and gotten a nutcase before he was going to go do a fucking massacre, is what it was. That being said, who's to say it wasn't them actually buying the shit for him? And it was all just a setup or something like that, dude. But that being said, the fact that the guy already had, like, you know, a shitload of fucking felonies dating back, like, 21 years. Yeah, it was probably just some idiot trying to do stupid shit is what it was, and he fucked around and found out that's what it was, dude. So, really what that showed me is the fact that you had 6 shipments dating back over 5 years now, and they just now got him, bro. Like, bro, if this guy really wanted to do something, he probably would have done it like 3 to 4 years ago, truthfully speaking. Like, it was probably just him just like stockpiling shit for whenever then is what it would be. As for the person is what it would be then. So, who knows? Either way, crazy story for sure, for sure. Anyway, speaking of good old want-to-be Nazis, got good old Michelle Grisham here, which is federal judge blocks New Mexico governor's firearm carry ban. So federal judge in New Mexico temporarily blocked Governor Michelle Grisham's firearm ban less than a week after governor issued the controversial ban. By the way, it wasn't controversial, it was unconstitutional and illegal for that matter, her literally growing power to do so. Said U.S. District Judge David Urias issued the ruling on Wednesday amid intense backlash from both sides of the aisle. An emergency health order issued last week. Grisham banned the carry of firearms open and concealed in parts of the state that meet a threshold of violent crime, the criteria that only the city of Albuquerque meets currently. So restrictions apply to the all public areas, including government buildings and open spaces. So while police and security guards are exempt from them, of course they are, dude. And that's the thing, right? It's always the fucking cops and military and shit like that's always exempt from this shit, dude. It's never them being the only ones being forced to do that stuff. Because that's the thing of the matter. It's how they always pass the shit too, by the way. It's the same thing with like red flag laws and stuff like that, or universal background checks or whatever the case be. It's like, oh, but if you're a law enforcement or you're military or whatever the case be, you can totally get around this shit. You're totally exempt from this stuff. And it's why you have like the fraternal order police and everything like that always fucking jerking people off and being like, yeah, we totally back this legislation, bro. Every time. That's exactly what the Ohio Fraternal Police in here a couple times now, when they were also against constitutional carry and stand your ground the last couple of years of what it was here in Ohio, back in 2022 and 2021, respectively, then, for constitutional carry / stand your ground. So, anyway. But so the order was set to expire after 30 days unless Grisham chose to extend it. Something she couldn't do anyway, something she couldn't do in the first place, actually. So Grisham cited a series of recent shootings around the state that have killed children, including an 11-year-old boy outside of a minor league baseball game, and a spat of shootings targeting Muslim men last month. Was it by other Muslim men? Or was it by black dudes killing Muslims? Or was it by, I don't know, illegal alien cartel members killing Muslims? Who's to say, man? Again, could have been honor killings for all the fuck we know there, man. Where it was like Muslim on Muslim, if that be the case. Islam on Islam, then. Happens all the time, dude, in those countries. Is why they shouldn't be here in this country, honestly. It says Grisham's order sparked multiple lawsuits that called for a block in the order, arguing it violates constitutional rights granted by the Second Amendment. That judge sided with the plaintiffs in several of these cases and granted a temporary restraining order on the governor's suspension, according to AP, which said the order will remain in place until October 3rd court hearing. Quote, don't blame her for wanting to take action in the face of terrible acts, said the judge, while noting he had asked to decide on a very narrow question related to citizens' rights. The local police have also pushed back against the measure, with both Albuquerque, New Mexico Police Department and local county sheriffs vowing not to enforce the shit. And the thing about it is, too, like, even the fucking attorney general of the state basically told this dumb cunt to go fuck herself, dude. And it was something that NEA pointed out last night I thought was interesting, and he's right about this, which was the fact that it's not that these other Democrats, like the whether it be the Lieutenant Governor of New Mexico, or whether it be the AG of New Mexico, whatever the case be, are against this stuff. They just don't want to be swept up in her fucking impeachment, is what it is, dude. Because they know that they'd be the next on the impeachment block or something like that. They know they'd be next to get arrested for deprivation of cover laws, what it is then. We're removed from office by force, then, if that be the case. Which will happen to all of them right now anyway, because they're all backing this shit, dude. Or all in favor of it. They're just not in favor of being caught with it, is what it is. Which, as I said the other day on this channel, Grisham should have been arrested at least 3 to 4 years ago when she pushed red flag laws in New Mexico. And then again in 2020 when she was doing all the lockdown stuff that it was totally unconstitutional and completely falls under crimes against humanity at this point. So, anyway. But moving on from there, we also had another story that said U.S. judge freezes New Mexico governor's gun ban. Probably the same exact thing, honestly, so we're not going to bother reading that one. Let's see here where we're at now. I thought this one was pretty interesting about the headline. I'm not sure exactly what the article itself's about, but it popped up in my Bing news that I have on my laptop now. So I figured I'd grab it here and talk about it, at least the headline anyway, which is a controversial revolution is underway at the Supreme Court as the conservative supermajority rewrites basic understanding of the roots of U.S. law. So I guarantee that's a bunch of bullshit, honestly, dude. And what they're really talking about is basically you have Supreme Court basically ruling in favor of good stuff right now, whether it be Second Amendment court cases, whether it be First Amendment court cases, etc. And it's them actually going by what the founding fathers intended for our Constitution to be, which is rights that we have and the government can't take away. It's things that restrict the government, period, at the end of the day. So, anyway. Some of the stuff I actually have right now, we were going to talk about tomorrow on Freedom Friday, but I might just talk about it now for the sake of time is what it is. And then we'll just reiterate it tomorrow again is what it'll be then. So, this one here I thought was pretty interesting. It was, I'm a mom of 3 school-age children, and we need to protect parents' rights inside the classroom. This is an opinion piece by a woman named Erin Hutchin. It's true, actually. It says... So let me cut to the chase. Now more than ever, we need to protect parents' voices inside the classroom. I know I join parents across southern Indiana and across our country and feeling increasingly worried as soon as we send our children off to school. It wasn't always like this. However, as a mother of 3 school-age children, I have experienced it myself throughout the years. Conversations surrounding education have evolved, especially conversations about parents' voices when it when they are advocating for their children. It says recently, it feels like the communication lines have been strained or even severed between home and school, where the children spend most of their day. Some changes became painfully obvious to parents during the pandemic as our living rooms became classrooms. Quickly, parents came to realize exactly what their children's days look like. And that's the big thing right there, right? Like, if anything, that's the only good thing that happened with the lockdowns, man, is you had all this indoctrination by a bunch of leftist pieces of shit, in most cases pedophiles or pedophile enablers for that matter, who were grooming these children to be raped, molested, etc. And parents finally found out about it in 2020 because they're like, wait, why the fuck are you guys talking about sexualization in a math class? Why are you talking about kids blowing each other in fucking history class, etc.? And, why are you having all these weird books about, like, literally in-depth anal sex and shit like that, which is what NEA was talking about last night in his chat a little bit there with what the senator from Louisiana was talking about. So, yeah, pretty disgusting. Actually, the fucked up part of it was, if you look at what he was saying, what John Kennedy was saying there, he was actually, when he was reading word for word from one of those books like Genderqueer or whatever it was, it pretty much sounded like something Lindsey Graham would say in a bathroom to another guy, honestly. Where he's like, that's my ass, bro. Obviously, we give Lindsey Graham shit because that guy is definitely closeted. And truthfully, man, like, nobody cares anymore, Lindsay. Like, just come out of the closet and you're gay, dude. Or at least bisexual anyway. It's very freeing, dog. So, anyway. Actually, if anything, you'd probably win more voter base if that'd be the case than if he actually came out as bisexual or gay. Anywho. Where are we at now? Yeah, someone here says that many parents have told me they were surprised and disappointed by what they learned about their children's education experience. When parents vocalized their concerns in school board meetings, they were often met with silence or dismissed out of the meetings entirely. On the floor of the House of Representatives, sending a child to a public school does not terminate your parents' rights at the door. Someone said, when I worked in child services, I assisted with the child care of children in foster care. Saw how the process worked firsthand. When foster parents are caring for children in custody by the state, they can't give these kids a haircut without permission from the child's biological parents. It's kind of ridiculous, by the way. It said, why shouldn't the same rules apply to our students' well-being in the classrooms? Yeah, I guess that's true. It said, she's here in Southern Indiana. We're lucky. Most of our school districts go above and beyond communication with parents and inform them about what they're actually learning in schools. So tragically, this is not a universal experience across the country. In fact, one father in Virginia had to learn his daughter was assaulted in a high school bathroom from his child, not the school. Said just last June, New Jersey judge ruled to block multiple school districts from notifying parents of a child's gender identity change. Stories like these shouldn't become the normal. No. And there was another one out of, I forget if it was Virginia or if it was like one of the other ones where this girl was literally transitioned in school by the fucking adults, the supposed teachers and stuff like that, school staff, etc. there, to the point where she was abducted by human traffickers and raped by a bunch of dudes. And only now, I think it was either her grandmother or it was like an aunt or something had custody of her right now. Because I believe it was her biological parents were dead, is what it was there. And it was that woman who legitimately helped, I want to say it was Virginia still, is now helping Virginia basically pass legislation there that will enact a law to stop this from happening in the future, is what it is, dude, to inform people about what's going on in their school system, what it is there. And of course, California, pedophile Scott Wiener, U.S. state senator there in California, the same piece of shit, by the way, that was the primary sponsor of bills, including not telling people you have HIV before having sex with them, unprotected, or literally allowing 14-year-old boys to fuck 24-year-old men with a 10-year age gap between them is what it is, all up to 18 years old. God, how that fucking piece of shit's still in power right now, it's ridiculous, dude. But yeah, Scott Wiener's definitely a pedophile, 100%, dude. But yeah, that dude's behind that shit, and he's also behind the crap now recently where it's like, oh, you can't have the school districts tell the parents that the kids are gender transitioning or want to use other pronouns or whatever the case be. It's like, fuck you, pedo boy. I swear to God, man, Just Society, these people I just remember from Office a long time ago, honestly, right now. So, anyway. Which also leads to two other stories that I thought were interesting and also had to do with the same stuff we're talking about right now, which is, yeah, that was pretty much the end of that legislation there, or that there's a couple more paragraphs that we're not going to read them. But yeah, two other things I wanted to talk about here, which is basically this article that popped up as well today, which is Keep Austin Queered. Residents ask if pride event and drag storytelling is a viable use of education funds and resources. No, it's fucking not, and it shouldn't be, honestly, dude. Get that fucking shit out of there, man. Like, stop trying to steal fucking funds to push your fucking gay shit down everybody's throats like this, man. And then this one I thought was really interesting, exactly what I've said for at least the past 2 to 3 years now. If actually, I'm not thinking about it, I'm trying to remember how long it's been now. I want to say it was back in like 2017, actually, is when I started talking about why we need to have teachers' unions banned in this country, because I heard about a bunch of stuff back then, is what it was. But yeah, this is exactly why teachers' unions need to be banned. Teachers' unions need to be banned in this country entirely. Randy Weingarten, who is the piece of shit, who is one of the idiots who's behind the biggest teachers' union in this country, actually, likens parental rights and school choice proponents to segregationists. Fuck you, cunt. And that's all I have to say about that, Randy. You dumb fucking piece of shit. Fucking cunt bitch. Says National Teachers Union boss Randy Weingarten, who should be in prison right now for a whole bunch of crimes against humanity charges, by the way, liking the rhetoric of supporters of school choice and parental rights initiatives to that of segregationists, sparking an outcry from supporters of the movements. It's an explosive comparison of Jim Crow era racists to modern day activists pushing for school districts to allow parents to have more input in their than their children's education. Was made by National Federation of Teachers president during a Tuesday interview with Northwestern University's Barnes Center for Social Change senior fellow Seth D. Harris. Quote, this is the same kind of roots that happened in the aftermath of Brown versus Board of Education. These same words that you heard in terms of wanting segregation post Brown versus Board of Education, these same words you hear today, Weingarten 65, who should be retired already, by the way, said in response to a question about the differences in political decisions surrounding schools who compared to the 20th century. Fuck you, Randy, you fucking cunt. Anyway, it says Weingarten's claims the words choice and parental rights were favored by segregationists seeking to stop integration of public schools in the Jim Crow era. Absolute fucking lie, by the way. That's what that idiot said there. It said, quote, I was kind of gobsmacked when I was walking to Southern Poverty Law Center. Oh, you mean the fucking leftist created biggest fake news fucking hate organization ever created? That literally had their people arrested recently in Georgia for being part of an Antifa terrorist attack at the Stop Cop City thing there, you dumb bitch. Oh, you mean those fucking people? Oh, yeah, that's who you're fucking basing your theory on, you dumb hoe. Makes sense, Randy, because you're a piece of fucking shit, lady. Anyway, where are we at here now? Yeah, she says she's talking to Southern Poverty Law Center, and they showed me the same words, choice, parental rights, and attempts to divide parents versus teachers at that point in history. It was white parents versus other parents, but it's the same kind of word, she said. Fuck off, lady. Says Weingarten argued that only a small amount of extremists who want to see an end to public education back school choice or parental rights policies. She specifically named former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, New College of Florida School Board board member Christopher Raffo, and a conservative nonprofit group Moms for Liberty, which totes a 115,000 strong membership across 45 states. What a piece of crap Randy is, dude. It says Randy said the words choice and parental rights are the same kind of words that we're using. Okay, yeah, we should talk about that one now. It's people talking about Randy here. It said from a woman named Nikki Neely said if Randy is actually interested in addressing modern-day segregation in schools, she should unequivocally condemn the practice of racially segregated affinity groups and healing circles that are used in K-12 schools. Nikki Neely, the parent of Parents Defending Education, tweeted in response to dipshit Randy's idiotic comments. Said, yet Randy was the only one blocking the schoolhouse doors. Elo Shapiro, director of constitutional studies at the Manhattan Institute, argued in a tweet, said, quote, public schools remain one of the most radically and economically segregated institutions in America. Nathan Kunin, communications strategist for American Foundation for Children, noted in a tweet, said Stanford University researchers found that white/black segregation between schools increased 35% between 1991 and 2020. Meanwhile, nearly every study on the topic shows that school choice has positive effects on integration. Which, by the way, for those who don't know about the difference here, is what it is, dude. School choice is not about white versus black versus yellow versus brown, whatever the case be, dude. It's about wanting your kids to get the best education they can. And when you have piece of shit Obama, one of the biggest race baiting, race dividing, black supremacist pieces of shit in this entire country, at the very end of his administration, having the audacity to sign some bullshit executive order where you cannot actually kick kids the fuck out of these schools that are doing daily fighting in these school systems and interrupting classrooms every single day, then you have these kids that are not learning at all, dude. And you wonder why the school education system is so fucked in public education. You wonder why parents who actually have one or two kids in these classrooms that are actually going to be bright children that actually want to learn, why they're like, no, I'm going to take my kid to a fucking another school, to an actual private academy or something like that, and I want to have a school voucher to be able to do it, because otherwise I can't pay for it, is what it is. And that's the entire point, man. It's just like when Ohio was doing the voucher program here recently. You had these fucking idiots, and I actually called them out too. It was I'm trying to remember what names were now. Jingle Jangle, something like that. And then it was her other buddy who was also one of the people there. I want to say it was like Joe Jingle or something like that here in Ohio. It's like one of these kind of independent reporter people is what it is. It's like her and some other woman do the reporting there is what it was. And I actually called one of them out, is what it was, here about, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. Because, or no, it was sometime in the last 6 months or so. Because it would have been like spring, maybe, give or take, right before they did the summer break, is what it was there. So it would have been like probably like May of this year. Because they were doing an inside thing inside of the state house there at the time. And it was like 6 or 7 idiots, leftist dipshits that had like tape on their mouths and stuff like that, being like, we're against school choice. And she was one of the two was exclusively covering that side of it, and then her buddy was outside exclusively covering the other side of it, is what it was. And I didn't know the two were coming together, is what it was there, because neither one of them had like crossovers in their Twitter accounts, is what it was. Which they should have had those things, by the way. They should have been tagging each other like crazy and having be crossover threads and stuff like that. And I want to give them shit for it, is what it was. But yeah, meanwhile on the other side of the thing, you had a whole bunch of parents and stuff outside, and a whole bunch of people who were all pro school choice, and a bunch of children who were all going to academies, a lot of minority kids, actually, for that matter. It was a lot of young black girls and black guys and stuff like that going to these Christian academies and like other academies and stuff like that were actually benefiting from these school vouchers and stuff like that, or would have been school vouchers and stuff like that, because a lot of times there it was actually scholarships that were being given to go to these schools. And they were like, yeah, man, like I love going to this school because it actually allows me to learn. And that's something they couldn't get in public education in this country, honestly, dude. And it's exactly what I've talked to my brother recently, actually, because he went back down to Columbus here recently. And turned out that my niece, when she went to school this year, her school was kind of shitty. My nephew, who was in high school down there, kid 16 years old, man, went into this high school first day, and what did he find in the fucking ghetto? Metal detectors everywhere. Because that's how these school systems are, dude. And again, daily fighting everywhere, and you wonder why this kid doesn't want to go back to that school now. I don't blame him, man. I would be like, no, I'm not going to this fucking school. It's like, no, we're going to transfer schools at this point. Or I'm going to do my own thing, or we're going to homeschool fucking computer schooling or something like that, that'd be the case, man. So, yeah, it's a bunch of shit, dude. And that's the thing. And again, it goes back to something the Naked Nation has been talking about here in the past like several months now. There was someone on his chat like a few months back now is what it was. And I talked about that sometime when it happened a few months back now, where it was this woman who was actually an educator at the time, and she actually was retiring from the education industry is what it was, because she knew that what was going on in the school systems was just shit at that point. And it was, as she was the one telling him about Obama's administration and signing the executive order and stuff like that. And she was talking about her own school there, and she was in this classroom, and there were 4 or 5 teenage black males back in the back fighting each other, pretty much being unruly, aggressive, trying to fist fight each other and stuff like that. She could not kick them out of that school. And what they were doing was they were taking these kids that were A-list students or B-list students and forcing them to essentially fight for their lives then. And end up turning these kids that were actually good students into bad students simply to actually survive and be able to fight for their survival in that school system and be able to actually fight back against this fucking unruly assholes what it was, dude. And it wasn't until after you had like strict implementations put in place that things changed. And when you get rid of the 4 or 5 bad apples out of there, shocker, you actually have a good classroom you can teach again is what it is, dude. And you can actually have kids that can learn again is what it is. And if that means that, because you can't get rid of these kids out of these schools or whatever the case be, that'd be the case, you just tell the school to fuck off is what it is. And you take your money and a voucher elsewhere, as should be your right as a parent at this point. You should want the best education for your child, doesn't matter what their race is. You should be able to get them the best education that they can be afforded is what it is, dude. And the main reason the Democrat Party is fighting back against it so hard is because, shocker, when you look at these private academies and stuff like that, they can't push their transgenderism. They can't push their gay agenda as much as they fucking want in these schools, dude. They can't have their fucking pedo pride flags and their fucking BLM flags hanging in classrooms everywhere across this country, because there's strict guidelines of that about that shit being in there, dude. Which, by the way, I'm sorry, but like, if your first thing as a teacher, I use that term loosely, by the way, because all the people are indoctrinators and pedophiles is what it is, dude. If your first thing is an indoctrinating pedophile in this country, in the education system, is to literally put up a fucking progressive pride flag or a Black Lives Matter flag into a classroom, you should be immediately fucking kicked out of the education system entirely, dude. You should be blackballed from ever teaching in this school, in any school in this country ever again. You should have a fucking asterisk next to your name that says potential child molester, do not let around children, and then literally be blackballed out of every education ever is what it is, dude. And being allowed to be around children in any kind of capacity for jobs in the future. And if we start ostracizing enough people like that, dude, guess what? We're going to have better candidates step up and be having better vetting of our education, of our teachers in our education. And we're not going to have fucking college commies. We're not going to have a bunch of Antifa and BLM terrorists becoming educators in this country, just so they can simply indoctrinate the next generation of kids and turn them into fucking activists for their bullshit later on. Like that fucking cunt Yvette Falarka did when she was a middle school teacher there in California. I don't know whatever happened to that bitch, honestly. I know she was catching charges at one point. I don't know if they ever charged her or not there, but yeah. Her ass should be in a fucking federal detention center right now, dude. Awaiting a death penalty for everything she did there for terrorism and stuff. And of course, being a little stupid fucking troll bitch that she was, like fucking 4'5", whatever the hell she was there. She would like try to instigate shit with like big ass grown men, and then immediately like zip back into the fucking crowd and let other big ass dudes that were part of Antifa come up there to fight her fucking battles for us, what it was. Which is what all of them do, by the way. All these fucking hoes, man. They want to act like men until they actually want to fight men. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, let me go back behind an actual guy and let that dude fucking fight my battle for me is what it is. When in reality it should be like, boom! Fucking one and done, bitch. So, anyway. So, let's see. We're talking anything else about that article there. Let's see. And of course, Randy claimed the vast majority of parents reject the school choice stuff and stuff like that. She's just a lying cunt, is what it is, dude. For real. Anyway, moving on to the last couple articles for the day. Going back to 2A stuff here. We got appeals court blocks California ban on gun marketing to kids. So the unanimous ruling came from a 3-judge panel who cited that it could violate the First Amendment rights of gun advertisers. Sorry, mine's kind of blanking out because I'm a little tired right now. Yes, it's federal appellate court ruled on Wednesday that the California law banning the marketing of firearms to minors is most likely unconstitutional under the gaze of the First Amendment. Said unanimous ruling came from a 3-judge panel in the Circuit Court of Appeals. The court's opinion, Circuit Court Judge Kenneth K. Lee, who, by the way, for those who don't know who Kenneth K. Lee is, who is Kenneth K. Lee, mind you? Well, let's go ahead and look up Kenneth K. Lee right now, all right? We'll do a Wikipedia search on Kenneth K. Lee. Kenneth K. Lee was literally, where's that here now? Crap. I thought maybe we had it in his profile there, but it doesn't. Literally, Kenneth Lee, this guy right here, who is a Trump appointee, by the way. This dude was one of the roof Koreans during the LA race riots in 1992, buddy. Fucking awesome, dude. So yeah, you literally have a roof Korean being all pro 2A now again. That was appointed by Trump there. So that's the thing. People always give Trump shit about the bump stocks, and I will, cite him for that one because it did open up the window for ATF to do all kinds of bullshit now. But then the flip side of things, he actually gave a literal roof Korean a judge appointeeness into the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals there. But yeah, so Circuit Judge Kenneth K. Lee wrote that although the law intends to curb gun violence, the First Amendment demands more than good intentions and wishful thinking to warrant the government's muzzling of speech. Says California law currently prohibits minors to use guns in activities like hunting and parental supervision. So because of this, Lee wrote that the court cannot straitjacket First Amendment by, on one hand, allowing minors to possess and use firearms, and then, current California law permits minors to use guns with parental supervision. Yeah. Says cannot straitjacket First Amendment by, on one hand, allowing minors to possess and use firearms, and then on the other hand, banning truthful advertisements about the lawful use of firearms to them. So Circuit Court's ruling revises one from a lower court, marking a major victory for gun rights activists and gun companies who argued that the gun ban prevented them from teaching kids, young people, how to properly use firearms. Exactly, dude. Says ban was crafted in a series of national effort to combat gun violence in the states. A similar law is up for passage in Illinois by idiot pedophile J.B. Pritzker. Has already pledged to sign it if the state passes it. Gun rights advocates in Illinois have argued that the law would violate not only First Amendment but also Second Amendment as well. I'm going to go back to that for a sec there. By the way, for those interested, when it comes to 1522s, that was actually stolen from me there. And if you look at the one magazine there, I think that's what it is right there. Yeah. The one there's a 10-round mag. Like, those ones suck, by the way. Those are ones for California there. Oh. Don't want to jump on that too much. Okay, there was some part of Oregon they're talking about there. Yeah. So gun control laws erase constitutional rights because they do. So we're going to stop sharing that now because, various things on there. But yeah, I'm so pissed that that rifle was stolen that day, and I still have not found it to this day, honestly. I loved my 1522, man. It was like the best 22 I ever owned, honestly, man, because it ate everything in the 22 caliber there for 22 LR. So, anyway. Okay, never mind. This other one was also another article about New Mexico governors. Haven't heard bullshit striking down then. I was thinking that was one of the ones. Okay. So we're going to go to a couple other ones here that are Ohio related only. We have a redistricting commission going on right now because apparently, even though that lawsuit against the one maps was done away with now, apparently that was only for federal maps for the actual Senate/Congress races that are going to happen next year. We still have to do another map for our in-state races for our General Assembly, which, by the way, at this point, I'm going to call up my state rep about this one and be like, hey, dude, if you guys really want to do maps, do them the right way. I know y'all are in a county with 2 other dudes in it that are also in the state house, but guess what? Y'all should be fighting each other for a primary, so we should be doing 1 county, 1 rep, motherfucker. And the best of the 3 of you can be in there then. So anyway. Ohio legislative leaders co-chair Flap has brought the Ohio Redistricting Commission to a standstill. Yeah, they spent basically 2 days fucking off, and they still have not named chairs for the actual damn thing. It's so retarded, dude. When you wouldn't even need to, honestly, at this point. It's like, just do some shit, dude. Like, just base the shit on a 1 county, 1 rep policy, and guess what? Then you have a thing. And then the same thing with the state senate, for that matter. It's like, guess what? Those 33 state house, or 33 state senate seats is what it is, dude. Now become 22. These 4 over here are now a fucking congressional district. These 4 over here are now congressional district. These 4 over here are now congressional district. It doesn't matter how many people are in them. Honestly, it really doesn't, dude. You just simply swipe 4, swipe 4, swipe 4, swipe 4, swipe 4, all the way across the fucking map till you get to 88 is what it is, dude. And there you go. Now you got 22 state senators, what it is then. So, anyway. 2 things I'm going to just mention in brief here is what it is for this episode, and then we're going to talk about tomorrow more in depth for the Freedom Friday episode, which is these 2 things about abortion rights stuff here. You got abortion rights groups debate language on fetal viability for 2024 election cycle. We'll talk about that article in depth tomorrow. And then the other one is a different article entirely, which is Democrats want to restore rights in Roe versus Wade, but differ on what that means. It means you literally killing kids, you fucking demonic fucks. That's exactly what abortion is, dude. That's why I can't stand the whole my body, my choice thing, dude. Because it's not your body, you dumb bitch. It's literally another human being growing inside of your fucking uterus that has its own blood, has its own organ system, has a different blood type than you do, has a different heartbeat than you do, for God's sakes. Like, that alone should tell you everything you know about fucking children and basic biology. When you can literally do a fucking ultrasound and you hear a tu-tu-tu-tu-tu-tu from your fucking child that is growing inside of you, it is another human being, for God's sakes. If you want to do something with your body, guess what? Don't have sex and get pregnant. Use fucking protection. But that's the problem, dude. It's these fucking hoes that want to sit around and ride the fucking cop carousel for their entire worthless ass fucking, 18 to 25 basically is what it is. Even 30 for that matter, until their looks start fading. And then they're like, where have all the good men gone? I don't know. Maybe we don't want a woman who has 14 fucking abortions and maybe 3 or 4 kids on top of that then? Who's all used up and shit? Or just has a fucking, is wearing around a t-shirt that's like, I'm so proud about my 27 abortions. Now, granted, those are more extreme cases, obviously, but like, the entire point is, though, man, there are so many of these chicks now that are just shouting their abortion from the rooftops. That's what it is, man. And it's like, how are you going to be proud about permanently ending innocent human life? Like, the literally most innocent of life at that point, dude. And half of these fuckers, especially the abortion doctors and stuff like that, dude, are just fucking gleeful about it. They're like, oh yeah, I can't, like, especially these Planned Parenthood executives and stuff like that, they're like, oh yeah, I had to sell this many baby parts to get my new Lamborghini this month. Like, what the fuck is the matter with your demonic ass, dude? I wonder if that's why they stopped teaching Latin so much, dude, is so we couldn't actually exorcise the fucking demons out of these people is what it is, dude. Do some supernatural shit. Just have them in that fucking demon trap and stuff like that. Just be like, reciting the fucking incantation. All of a sudden you see like fucking black smoke just shoot out of somebody's fucking mouth is what it is, dude. Because they're all demonically possessed, what it would be then. I swear to God, the older I get, man, that was not a TV series. That was a documentary for real life at this point. And I mean that shit seriously. Because so many things in the supernatural universe actually equate to real life right now, dude. Like, it's not even funny. Like, there's definitely unexplained shit out there everywhere is what it is. So, and it would not surprise me in the least if you had so many people in power right now that were looking back, went to some crossroads someplace, put a little fucking, spell thing together, buried it in the crossroads, and all of a sudden you had demons show up and make a deal with them for 10 years, 20 years, whatever it was in power. So, especially when you start looking at some of these Congress people, dude, because I could totally see something where it's like, you have somebody do the crossroads demon deal, whatever the case be, and all of a sudden, like, Maxine Waters shows up to the fucking deal or something. Or like one of these other Democrats, like Chuck Schumer, like, it's like, how may I help you now? Like, that would make so much sense, honestly, dude. But anyway, yeah, it's literally demons, dude. We're literally fighting demons in these battles, is what it is. And that's why I can't stand these fucking people, man. When they're pushing for moment of birth abortions, child sterilization at any time, chemically castrating kids, etc. It's like, what is the matter with you, dude? And again, a lot of it has to do with mental illness, is what it is, dude. It's just pure mental illness in many cases. So, anyway, I'm gonna go check Discord real quick. I want to see if Corey ever got back to me or not then. Because he was supposed to be on the panel today, but I wonder if maybe he had to do some stuff there. It would make sense if we did, honestly. So, okay, no, he's not on there at all right now. Okay, so doesn't matter anyway. We pretty much talked about everything we're talking about today anyway. So we'll be back for another Buckshot Thursday next Thursday. If Corey's here, we'll talk about 2A scenarios and stuff like that. If he's not here, we'll talk about some other stuff then. Tomorrow we'll be doing Freedom Friday. I'll be redoing it because I inadvertently grabbed that one instead of this one today. So we'll be talking more about stuff on that relating to Ohio, whether it be about abortion and stuff like that, or whether it be the articles didn't really cover it in full today is what it is there. And a lot of people need to vote no on November 7th here in Ohio and keep the bullshit copy and paste garbage from Michigan where it belongs in Michigan and not in the state of Ohio. Don't let these fuckers enshrine child sterilization and abortion into Ohio's constitution, period. Because if they do, guess what? I have no problem at all finding people's money to use in lawsuits, dude. And working with everybody I can to form a giant-ass lawsuit against these fuckers, dude. If that shit would try to become law then. Because there's no chance in hell I'm letting these cocksuckers allow this, put this kind of crap into my fucking thing. Especially when it is paid for by literally Nazi collaborator George Soros in many cases, and also that piece of shit Michael Bloomberg too. Because shocker, Bloomberg wants this to be the first thing on the fucking docket, and then wants to push gun control crap later on to our state constitution. And he can go fuck himself on that one, dude. That guy, like, honestly, I'll say it like it is, man. The thing that pisses me off about the General Assembly and General Assemblies in this country entirely, whether it be the state levels or whether it be the federal level, y'all need to pass legislation across the board, dude, and start freezing and seizing these fucking globalists' cash. Start freezing and seizing their fucking assets, man. Whether it be Soros, whether it be Bloomberg, whether it be anybody in between, man. When they are actively trying to fuck over the Second Amendment and use billions of dollars that they got through, in Soros's cases, literally stealing other people's wealth that he's sent off Nazi death camps, or whether it be in Bloomberg's case, literally doing short selling a stock, which should be legal itself, by the way, because you're literally inflating stock prices all crazy and shit to then make a giant windfall is what it is for yourself. Whereas, as we saw with the Wall Street Bets thing a couple years ago, if you actually call these fuckers bluffs out, what they did with GameStop then, you can actually force them to pay the fuck up. And what happens was the whole problem with short selling a stock, and why it should be legal, by the way, is because what you're doing is you're buying a stock for pennies on the dollar, and you're basically like market sharing it out to the point where instead of it being 100% stock that exists right now, you're inflating that shit to where it's like you have the 100% there, and then you have like 900% doesn't even exist right now. So you're making like 1,000% stock is what it is, dude. Or 900% does not even exist at all. And then you're making a ton of money on that, like, what you call it, futures is what it would be there whenever it does sell. When you can, like, sell it for profit somehow is what it is there. And the issue becomes with that one, if you actually call their bluff right now and you start actually buying it from them before they can do the short sell side of it is what it is, they'll have to pay up all that invisible stuff. All that shit right there that's like the 900% that's all non-existent actually becomes real then. And that's exactly what they did with the Wall Street Bets thing with GameStop. When you had these people trying to short sell that stock is what it was. And you had all those dudes behind that stuff call their bluff with a few dollars here, a few dollars there. And that's why you had these guys whose parents in a lot of cases were fucked over by the housing market crash 2008. Did that bluff call and became millionaires overnight. And you had all these billionaires that were fucking friends of Elizabeth Warren and companies like that, dude, that were all like, oh, Elizabeth, we're losing our shirt now. You and the rest of the U.S. Senate need to pass legislation immediately to stop this from happening to us again. And of course, her fucking stupid cunt ass a couple days later did, is what it was, dude, or tried to anyway. And that's exactly what Elizabeth Warren, by the way, should be out of office right now, too, for that matter. Because, again, just like Amy Klobuchar, just like Bernie Sanders, just like Cory Booker, just like Kamala Harris, etc., dude. Every single one of these fucking people, including that fuck-knuckle Chi-Com fucker and talking about nuking gun owners, Eric Sowell, should have all been tossed out of office in 2020, dude. There should be resign to run acts on the board across the fucking, or on the books across the fucking border now. Where if you want to run for the presidency, guess what? You're no longer sitting congressman, you're no longer sitting senator, you're no longer sitting governor, etc. That's why Jay Inslee shouldn't be in the governor's office in Washington State right now. And neither should that one jackass in, I forget what state it was, Montana or something like that, who then ran, I want to say he ran for the U.S. Senate in 2022 is what it was there and won. But yeah, none of these fucking people should be in there at all, dude. They should have been forced to resign from office, and then when they lost the fucking bids, sorry, tough shit, go fuck off. Oh, you want to rerun for election then? Okay, fine, whatever, dude. Then throw your fucking hat in the ring, but you're still going to be in the fucking primary against other people, then asshole. You're not going to be in the incumbent anymore, is what it'll be then. Because it'll be an open seat then, it'll be. So, anyway. But yeah, it just bugs the hell out of me, honestly, what it is, dude. And it should bug everybody else too, for that matter, because it's literally these people who are doing everything that they possibly can to fuck around and not lose power. And it's the same shit with DeSantis and company now here in 2024, or 2023 and 2024 now. DeSantis in Florida, they should have had him resign to run because there was that law in the books there. But of course, what do you have the Florida General Assembly do, man? He had them rewrite the fucking law so you could run as somebody sitting governor there. Instead of just being like, okay, I'm going to go all on the presidency here. Let me hand off the power to my lieutenant governor, who's a good woman down there. Because she is, by the way. And she could have picked her own successor as lieutenant governor, would have been then. And you would have had Florida having a new governor right now that would have been a chick, and she would have picked her own lieutenant governor after the fact. That's what it would have been then. So, anyway. Like I said, that's pretty much where we're at right now for the day. I'll be back later tomorrow, probably around like 3-4 o'clock, someplace in there for Buckshot, or not Buckshot, for Freedom Friday. Sorry, again, brain, haven't slept well these last couple of days. A little tired right now. I'm probably gonna take a nap after I finish this off right now. So, doing Freedom Friday tomorrow about Ohio and other topics of the day, and then we'll be doing. We might do something on Saturday. I'm not sure right now. Most likely, I will be doing a gaming chat at some point here in the near future. I don't know if it'll be later tonight or it'll be sometime tomorrow afternoon / evening, or maybe even the Saturday for that matter. There's some stuff going on in the Walking Dead game that I play that I kind of want to discuss, and it really is like internal strife between the clans right now is what it is. So that's when I get that off my chest, what it is right now. Because it's probably going to come to the point where we might have to switch regions again after this season, which is going to suck ass in like 50 days or so. Especially when I can't afford to. So I have to have somebody else pay my way out again, dude. And don't really want to do that, is what it is. I'd rather have us all come together and be cool, is what it is. Especially when the couple people that outed themselves today is what it is there. It's only like a handful. And really, they should just be leaving the region and leaving it to the rest of us, is what it would be then. We could be a better region without them, and it is what it would be then. So, yeah. But that being said, they're making all kinds of shady deals with fucking people, and really we could have made a better deal for ourselves that would have actually had us be a better region after next season, after this current season, and the next season would be then. So, and of course it didn't come to fruition because people were stupid. But that's the problem when you allow a bunch of who knows how old people that want to pay a bunch of money into a game to be able to have the decision making and stuff like that. Which, if there's one thing I will say about this game when it comes to the region chief thing, it really should be any clan in the coalition can assume that title. It should not just be whatever clan is holding the sanctuary in the first season. There's what it is. It should be literally any clan in the coalition can assume region chief is what it will be then. Because if that be the case, if we just had that title, what it will be, we would have a better region right now, honestly, instead of the bitch that has it right now is what it is, man. And a bunch of dudes from manipulating her ass is what it seems like anymore. So, anyway. It is what it is, man. But, yeah, we've pretty much vowed that it's like, yeah, we'll be part of this whole thing, but we're not going to fight these other people is what it is, man. So that's on you guys later kind of thing. It'll be there. So, anyways, like I said, that's pretty much my map for the day. That was what it is. I'm going to go actually game after I finish off this episode right now, and then probably take a nap for a little bit of time. Then is what it'll be, and go from there. Then, so like I said, be back tomorrow for Freedom Friday. I'm thinking about maybe making like a Surly Saturday or something like that. As like a late night chat kind of thing, since Honda stopped doing those now. And maybe we'll just send something out there to like Honda and Company or whatever then. Where we'll just maybe do a thing where we talk to like a couple people, use a couple people as emissaries for us and stuff like that to talk to Matt/NEA about maybe ending his chat at a certain time or whatever on Saturday nights. His little nerd chat there's what it is for, comics and geek topics and stuff like that. We can just start our own thing then if that'd be the case right after that, then is what it is then. And just have that be like Surly Saturday or something like that for a couple hours then. Because that would be fun, I think, honestly, on this channel. That being said, the problem is that, again, we're not paying money for this, so it's not like we can have 10 people on the panel. It'll just be me and like 4 to 5 other people then is what it'll be then. So, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, honestly. But anyway, yeah, needless to say, it's just irritating as fuck is what it is, man. The whole thing across the board right now. And the worst thing, again, going back to the whole gaming thing, is like, it's like, I'm trying to play this game to escape reality and escape the political bullshit, and y'all are bringing me into more political bullshit in game. Like, I don't want to be part of this kind of thing. So, anyway. I mean, I kid halfway, but not really. But, yeah, it's like, it is what it is, man. Let's deal with it or don't deal with it, and then, yeah, that's what it is. But, anywho. Like I said, though, be back tomorrow for Freedom Friday. Hopefully, Corey will be on the panel then. I don't know. Maybe not. I might drop a link to Honda, too, if he's available or not. I don't know. Just have the 3 of us bullshit for a while. I know he was available earlier. I don't know if he was doing anything or not today, but I mean, we could have dropped him a link for today, but I wasn't sure about that, so I decided not to. But, anywho. Oh, yeah. So I actually ordered something the other day that's supposed to be coming here in a couple of days because, unfortunately, these headphones that I've had for a while right now, the one ear on them is not working anymore. It shorted out the other day. So I bought a new pair from Amazon that was like $22, something like that. And I'll do a review on those probably this weekend, actually, as long as their quality is good and stuff like that. So, if nothing else, I might do like a gaming chat / headphone review chat or something like that, if that be the case then here, like Saturday, Sunday afternoon, sometime in there. But it depends on when they come in, because they're technically not supposed to come until Sunday, but they might come in Saturday. It depends, honestly, because it's always like a day beforehand. Honestly, they should already be here is what it is, because fucking Amazon being what they are is like, oh, well, since we said we're going to have them to you on Sunday, we're going to sit here and fuck off for 2.5 days and not even bother to fill your fucking order when we could have already had it out to you is what it is, man. Like, that's the problem right there, dude, entirely. It's like, I don't care if it's free shipping or not, dude. Like, do your fucking job. If it's on the fucking docket that could be filled right now, dude, like, just fucking fill it a day early, for God's sakes. Like, Jesus Christ, how fucking hard is that? So, anyway, again, this is the problem with mega corporations, though. Unfortunately, they can get to you the fastest, but they also love to take their fucking time and screw you over if you're not paying for their fucking Prime services, what it is, dude. Which I refuse to do that, honestly, because I can't afford to. So, anyway. But that being said, there's a new show coming out here at the end of the month called Gen V. That's actually based on the Boys universe. Looks pretty good. I look forward to watching that at some point here in the future. Obviously, not paying Amazon to do so. And I'll leave it at that because y'all know what I'm talking about, dude. If you ever listen to any Ace chats and stuff like that, it's all about the them sites out there, buddy boys. Which are good sites, actually. You can find a lot of good stuff on there. That's why a lot of people don't even bother having cable anymore because they can just find most of the shit on there. I don't think it has everything on there though, and the thing of it is too though, if you want to watch certain things in a timely manner and stuff like that, you're not gonna be able to do that either because it's like there are some shows that don't pop up on those sites for like I don't know, like a week or something almost. Like I know that one's there. There's that one show I actually watch now. It's the survival series Fight to Survive, which is on tonight actually. And the last episode from last week just showed up yesterday on that site. So yeah, it's not like it's going to show up in a timely manner. There is what it is. But yeah, that show is interesting. The one thing that does bother me about that series, though, as a competition show, is it's like, and I think I said that before on one of these chats. If you're going to be battling people for items, and you're a chick that battles that bangs the thing and is like, I'm gonna take this dude's item, you shouldn't have fucking doubles where you have to pick a dude on your side and they pick a chick on their side. It's like, no, you want to fucking go after something a dude has, then fight that fucking man, bitch, and prove you're just as powerful as he is. And if you can't, tough shit, you fucking lose and you go home then. And it'd be so much better off, dude, because really it would be like a battle of sexes kind of thing at that point. And that's one thing that's always pissed me off about wrestling too anymore is like they used to have it back in the day where you could actually fight chicks as dudes and stuff like that in the games and whatnot. And now it's like you have to be like a woman in those games to fight another woman and stuff like that. Or a dude to fight another dude and stuff. And it's like, that's bullshit, dude. Like there should be intergender fighting, honestly. Because again, it proves who the superior sex is, what it is, dude. I mean, hell, look at that. What was it, Fallon Fox in UFC and stuff like that, who claimed to be transgender and stuff like that, but he/she was really just a guy, and fucking banged some chick in the head so hard they gave that bitch a skull fracture. And it's like I'm trying not to laugh about that because it's not actually funny. Honestly, it's sad, but that's the entire point. It's a fucking joke, is what it is. To allow these fucking people that are clearly biologically different to be able to fight each other in a thing and try to claim it's a women's division or whatever the case be, dude. It's a bunch of shit. It's just like Nyla Rose's ass being in AEW right now. Like Tony Khan can go fuck himself on that one too, man. That dude should be fighting men in that company and every other wrestling company for that matter, not fucking females, because they're not one. Same thing with there's another one, Impact Wrestling that used to be TNA, which was Giselle Shop. It was what that person's name is. And they were the one that actually fucked with Rick Steiner here recently at some like WrestleCon thing like a year ago or whatever, to the point where Rick basically flipped out on this bitch. And it was Shaw instigating the entire thing. But of course, what did WrestleCon do? They're like, oh, we're going to ban Rick Steiner for life now. Like, fuck you people, man. And that's the problem with the whole trans agenda shit right now is what it is, man. So it's just like I found out recently that Chucky series that they were doing for Sci-Fi. I knew the first season of it had gone like full gay for GLAAD is what it was, because GLAAD, the Gay Lesbian Alliance people, claimed that a few years ago they wanted 50% representation for gay and lesbian, transgender characters, etc., in movies and TV series and stuff like that, even though they make up nowhere near 50% of the population at this point in this country, or any country for that matter. But yet they want an overrepresentation in cinema is what it is there. And so you had Chucky basically introduce this gay character kid to begin with in the series, what it was there, which made me dip out of that fucking show immediately is what it was. And then came to find out that the second season of that show, which was almost a year ago now, because they're doing like season 3 or pretty soon is what it is, they went full fucking trans in that second season of that show, having one of the kids be one of these they them people, even though it was clearly played by a fucking female. And of course, that actress claims to be non-binary, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, fuck off, people. Like, enough of your shit at this point. And I'm saying that as almost 40-year-old man at this point, dude. I'm 38 years old. I'm going on 39 in January. It's like, bro, I'm a grown ass adult. I can see through this shit. But the problem is they're targeting so much of this stuff at kids. Whether it be kids my nephew's age, whether it be kids even younger that are my niece's age, 9, 10, 11, stuff like that. And it's like, enough is enough, dude. Like, stop fucking with the kids, man. Like, just stop it. Period. End of story. So, anyway. That being said, this is where we're going to end it off here. As we used to say, and now we're going to say, I'm gonna try to come up with a new saying for these things now, but basically the new saying for now is going to be fuck anti-gunners. Fuck them all. They are all scumbags. They are all Nazis. They are all pieces of shit. They all want us in death camps, and they can all fuck off to themselves. But as we used to say on this channel, hug your wife, kids, husband, whatever, significant other. Tell me you love them. Call up your mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, whatever it is. Tell me you love them, because you never know if today's going to be your last day with these people. With the way our government's going, with the way inflation's going, with the way everything else is going, they might be dead in a couple of days from being able to not survive because they won't have food to eat is what it is, man. Or, given how crazy our political climate is anymore, you could have some executive order passed down the line that just says, okay, we're going to go full fucking Canada and just start, euthanizing people everywhere is what it is there. So, anyway. Yes, it was. Yeah, it's like 300, but it's like 300 bones, and then I know there was another version of it that's like 350 or something that I found. That's not on Amazon, but yeah. If anybody wants to buy me one of those, by the way, for Christmas this year, totally down for that. Or if y'all want to come together as a collective or whatever the case be, I'll throw like money into a pot together or something like that, and do that or something. I'd be down for that shit, man. I'd love to have one of those. I don't know how legal it would be, though, to go hunting with it, though, in the state of Ohio, because I'm not sure what the actual draw weight is on those things. So I'm not sure what kind of game you can actually take with those would be. I really wouldn't want to go white-tailed deer hunting on one of those things just because the bolts are so short. And I don't think you would be able to do it to any distance where it would actually be not inhumane as fuck as it would be. So, yeah, if I was to go hunting with one of those things for like any kind of situation, it'd be like real small game, like squirrel or rabbit or something, probably at most. Maybe like some kind of game bird or something. So, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much where we're at for the day, though. I would love to have one of those, though, just to fuck around with a little bit, dude, just to test it out and stuff like that. Plus, it gives me a way to keep my what am I trying to say here? Keep my muscle memory going with my fingers and stuff like that, and not having to waste a bunch of ammo in doing so. That's the only good thing about those things, honestly. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of BB guns on the market that aren't anywhere near realistic enough for the price that you're not going to get shit for that thing, and you'd have to have like something that's a lot more expensive that would be BB gun or COT powered gun or whatever the case be wise. And even then, you're still using BB/pellets to do those things. What it is there, whereas with the repeatable bow and stuff, little crossbow, you can actually just reuse those bolts over and over again. Is what it is there. So anyway, yeah, the only thing I need to buy at that point would be some kind of a like what you call it thingy, like Target deal or whatever the case be then. So anyway, but other than that, though, there's videos all over the internet about that particular thing. It's super quiet. Like you're basically just hearing. It's basically just like a thunk from the actual arrow being fired off. Other than that, it's super quiet, man. Like you could definitely, depending on where you be at, like grid, because even Vanger brought up last night about the grid down thing with that. Like you could be anywhere in a grid down if you're not within like earshot of somebody, they're not going to hear that thing going off. and you're going to be able to take down a small game or something like that with that, like a big ass rabbit or like a couple squirrels or maybe like a I don't know like a raccoon or something if you want to go that route or something. By the way, you can't eat raccoon. Obviously, it's not. I wouldn't suggest eating like the inner part of the carcass or whatever. But like, there's some decent leg meat on raccoons and stuff like that if you want to go that route. Also, depending on where you're at, there's other animals too. But yeah, there's all kinds of small game, or like I said, small birds or something like that, even for that matter. So, or even just like I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't know if you could take a boar with that thing quick enough, though. I don't think you could, unless you'd be like a really small one. And even then, I wouldn't want to fuck with a wild boar with that, dude, even if it's like a little baby one or whatever. Because God forbid one of those tusks get right into your fucking leg or something, dude. And they just tear your shit up then. Yeah, if I was going to go wild boar hunting, I definitely want a firearm, though. Same thing with white-tailed deer, for that matter. Just because it's more humane to take them down that way than it would be with like a bow or whatever the case be. Because I've seen people bow hunt deer before, and it's pretty disgusting, actually, that sometimes it'll go like through the neck and shit. And you'll just see like blood spurting out and shit like that. And it just takes them so long to like realize that they're dying and just finally drop is what it is. And it's like so much less humane than just a one gunshot blast to the fucking, heart, liver, lungs, whatever it is there. So anyway. And of course, when you get to more powerful calibers, as our boy Two Live Moo told me once in a back chat when he was using a 450 Legend AR upper at one time there in Michigan in the Upper Peninsula there. He had got a deer and it went like right through the neck and was like almost completely decapitated that motherfucker with one shot. And I'm just like, God damn, dude. So it was pretty fucking hardcore from what he was saying, man, as he was describing it is what it was. So anyway, like it was basically like accordion and stuff like that kind of a deal. Anyway, I'm starting to get slap happy from being tired, so I'm definitely gonna go take a nap for a little bit. Here's what it is. So anyway, like I said, I'll see you guys tomorrow for Freedom Friday, and then we might do Surly Saturday on Saturday. I'm not sure yet. It depends. If I do, it'll just be a thing. Or what I might do actually is I might just talk Corey into doing that on his channel now, if that be the case then. And then we could just have something there, so it'll be then. But anyway, something will be worked out here and there is what it is, man. And then we'll just do some things here and there is what it'll be then. So, anywho. But it'll be interesting to see what happens here in the next few weeks to a couple months is what it'll be. Obviously, it's about 50-something days until we have next election cycle here in November for various things across every state in this country that's going to be having various mayor races and everything else like that. And it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Mom and I were talking about that actually today when we were out trying to get some stuff because there's a dude here in Canton that's trying to run for Canton mayor. He's a Democrat. And she's like, didn't the guy already win the mayorship? And I was like, I thought so too. But now I'm thinking about it. Maybe that was just the Democrat primary for the mayorship or whatever. Because I know there's a Republican in the race. So hopefully people in that city will actually be smart this time around and vote a Republican into power and not keep putting a bunch of retarded ass fucking Democrats in power then, dude. And then wonder why your fucking entire city has become a giant shithole and why people like me don't even go into it without a fucking firearm on our persons every time. So anyway, yeah, I've never not been carrying in downtown Canton since constitutional carry has become a thing here last year or so. And even before that, I was open carrying is what it was. So, but yeah, now I'm just constitutional carrying is what it is now since June 9th, 2022. Mostly because a bunch of shootings happened down there in the Canton area, and I refuse to be a statistic in the daytime then. So somebody wants to fuck around with me, they're going to find out real quick is what it is, dude, that I am not willing to die that day, and I am willing to fire back and save myself and my family then. So anyway, like I said, though, that's about it for today, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.